What is up, everybody? It's the Minifigure Guru, and I'm here with another year ranked. And this is actually a bit different. This is our first non-Marvel video. We got DC, so this is going to be DC years ranked. Let's get right into it with our worst year, which is going to be 2014. Now, 2014 did have a couple good sets, that being Batman Man-Bat Attack and the Tumbler from the Dark Knight movie. But it also had some less than stellar sets, those being Batman the Riddler Chase and the Batman classic TV series Batmobile. Both of those don't really land for me, and so then they even out, and we're doing the same way I did last time. So I do the best sets and the worst sets of the year, the highlights and lowlights, and then I add them together, or then I subtract the I subtract the lowlights from the highlights, and then I get a number, and then divide that number by how many sets are that year. I get a score, and then I base it off of that. Though, in this case, there are some differences between the score I got and then the actual list. But this got a 0, as there's 2 good, 2 bad. It's just not a great year, and the sets in between aren't too good either. Also, the Comic-Con exclusive was actually pretty good, but it's the Batman Zuran R, I think that's how you say it, and big thing is how colorful it is, but that's been outdone by other Lego movie Batman sets, so that's where 2014 is here. Next up, we have one that really surprised me, 2017. 2017 actually only had 7 sets, which really surprised me, and 3 of them were Mighty Micro, so it really only had 4 sets. It actually only had 1 set that was actually good to me, which was the Wonder Woman Warrior Battle, and 1 set that was actually bad to me, which was Battle of Atlantis, which was the small Justice League set. Everything else just was pretty good, but, not exceptional, but since they were pretty good, it ended up here. The Comic-Con exclusive this year was the worst Comic-Con exclusive ever, in my opinion. It's Vixen. Printing isn't anything special. The character isn't anything special. It's nothing unique or crazy. It's just boring. So that's why 2017 is here. Next up, another surprising and very disappointing one, 2020. 2020 had stuff like Wonder Woman vs. Cheetah and the mobile Bat Base. But then, well, actually, there's only 4 sets this year, which is very sad. There's only 4 sets, and the other 2 weren't good, those being Bat Boat, Penguin Pursuit, and Joker Trike Chase. I didn't like either of those, so it's half and half. There's half good, half bad. And the other stuff is these foil packs with minifigures, and I guess I kind of like that you're able to just buy minifigures, because I really like minifigures, as you can tell by my name. But these aren't too great, so they end up kind of mid-tier, and it's just all around a very disappointing year. Especially considering we are in 2020 and we're getting all these other sets for other themes. Now, I will say I'm a bigger fan of Marvel and Star Wars than I am of DC, but that doesn't change the fact that I still really like some of these characters, and I really wish we could get a bit more. And even if there wasn't this virus thing, I think we only would have gotten maybe 3 or 4 more sets. I think that they were never planning on really releasing much for DC. I have an odd feeling that in 5 years, DC Lego might not be around. Next up, another one that kind of surprised me, but not because of how low it was, because of how high it was. 2012. An early year in its, lifespan. They did release some Comic-Con exclusives in 2011, but I didn't put that on this list because it's no sets. So I just started with 2012 like Marvel, and this has the same problem as 2012 Marvel sets, as just 3 buildable figures, those being Batman, the Joker, and Green Lantern, which aren't good, but then all the other sets are actually pretty good. You got stuff like the Dynamic Duo Funhouse Escape, the Batcave, Superman vs. Power Armor Lex, and then everything else is just very mediocre. The polybags are also pretty good this year, but the big thing here are the exclusives. We have Shazam, which looks great, and they still pretty much use the same prints, just a different hairpiece. And Bizarro, which is incredible. This is what a Comic-Con exclusive should be. Cool, interesting, wacky, which I don't like saying, but it's true. It should be a bit out there. It's just the perfect one. Next up, we have 2016, which, if you don't remember, was my favorite year for the Marvel sets. This one didn't have so much for DC, though. The only good ones for me were the Clash of Heroes Batman v Superman set and then Batman Classic TV series Batcave, which is probably my favorite DC set, which is kind of funny because 2016 Marvel had my favorite Marvel set. So that's funny, but that's pretty much it. It only has one that I really didn't like, which is Kryptonite Interception. Everything else is just kind of mediocre. There's some ones that were teetering on making it on my highlights, but on the other hand, there were some that were teetering on making it on my lowlights. So, you know, they're just very mid-tier, which is why it is middle of the list. The Comic-Con exclusive this year was Atom. Pretty good. Actually, I kind of like this one, but I still don't like that they use it, you know, as kind of marketing for the Arrowverse, which, as we all know, isn't that good anymore. I just wish we would get more like stuff like Deadpool Duck, you know, that type of stuff. Interesting stuff they couldn't put in a set. That's what that's used for. Next up, we have 2018. Some of the highlights were the Lex Luthor Polybag, Black Manta Strike, Lex Luthor Mech Takedown, Speed Force Pursuit. Those were all some pretty good ones. It also had stuff like the app-controlled Batmobile, which was a total ripoff. And then I didn't really like the Attack of the Talons set. So overall, very just, you know, it's a pretty good year. Number 4. It had only a couple bad ones. We also got an amazing Reverse Flash and great upgraded Flash. We also got, you know, a really good Batwoman. And the Comic-Con exclusive was horrible. I really do not like the Black Lightning. For me, it just looks like a knockoff minifigure for some reason. Like, the printing's just off. It's just not a good looking minifigure because the printing is just off a bit. I don't know what it is. If someone else feels the way, please tell me, because it just looks like a knockoff minifigure and it's so weird to me. Next up, we have 2015 with stuff like Green Lantern versus Sinestro, Darkseid Invasion, Jokerland, Brainiac Attack. It was a pretty solid year. The only set I really didn't like was, I didn't like the Joker bumper car polybag, but set, I really didn't like the Black Manta Deep Sea Strike. I don't think any of the minifigures are that cool, and the build isn't anything too amazing. I like the other Black Manta set, which I think comes in a later year that we're going to talk about. So it's just not an incredible set. But the entire year as a whole is actually really great and super solid. The Comic-Con exclusive was pretty garbo. Arsenal, the printing isn't anything cool. The characters isn't anything cool. It's nothing unique that they couldn't just throw in a set. I really don't like this Comic-Con exclusive. It may be worse than Vixen. I don't know if anything can be worse than Vixen, though. In our number 2 spot, we have 2019, a very solid year. We have stuff like Batman, Bat-Sub, and the Underwater Clash, Batwing and the Riddler Heist, Batcave, Clayface Invasion, 1989 Batmobile. The only set that I didn't really like was Mr. Freeze's Batcycle Battle. I just don't think the build is that cool or the minifigures, but it's actually not too bad. I was almost going to put the junior sets on here, but I realized, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Their junior sets, the build isn't going to be that good. And the minifigures work. And to be honest, I would probably buy that $10 Batman vs. Riddler set just for that new Riddler. I don't really want it, but I would. And also the foil packs are pretty cool this year, as there's a way to get the Flash for cheap, this really cool Batman variant for cheap, and the CD and the SDC was really good this year with Zebra Batman. Again, a unique figure that we may have gotten in a set, but probably not. It's something from the comics. It looks cool. It has really cool cape, really cool printing, unique. It's just what a Comic-Con should be. And if you've been doing process of elimination, then you'd know our number 1 spot, something that surprised me. 2013, their second year for me, still has not been beat. With, on the good side, we have the Batman Arkham Asylum Breakout, incredible set. We have Arctic Batman vs. Mr. Freeze, the Bat vs. Bane Tumbler Chase, Man of Steel line, I don't say it's a highlight, but it's solid for sure. Jor-El, incredible. The SDC this year is awesome. You get a Green Arrow, which is one of the best. The Lego isn't that good at making Green Arrow, but this is one of the good ones. You get the black suit Superman. It's so good. And guess what? For me, this is the only time this has ever happened. This is the only year I've ever looked at of any theme with no lowlights. I don't think there's one set that is actually bad this year. Most of them actually made it on the highlights, and if they didn't, those being the Man of Steel sets, I think they're really solid. And if you like Man of Steel, which I didn't that much, this would be awesome for you. overall 2013 was great. But that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I try to keep this one a bit shorter. I'll see you guys soon for another list video, and see you Thursday for Iron Man 2. Bye.